CIPC webinar on the automation of voluntary deregistration. My name is Shani Kelly. I'm an education specialist from the Corporate Education and Compliance Unit, and I will be your moderator today. The presentation will be delivered by Mr. Mishek Maluleke, who is a team leader at the Annual Returns and Deregistration Unit, after which a question and answer session will take place. Participants are encouraged to submit their questions via the comment section throughout the presentation. The presentation is available on the chats and the handout icon, and the recordings will be emailed to the registered participants. The participants are reminded of the e-learning Learn IBIS program, which is freely accessible via the CIPC website homepage. We will now commence with the presentation. Welcome, Mr. Maluleke. Morning,
Thank you
Mishak.
very much. Good morning, Shanae. Am I
You may
audible?
comment. Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our CIPC webinar on automation of voluntary deregistration. We are delighted to have you today. Let's all participate so that we can make this session valuable, and then we are able to serve you better. As or my colleague has already said, I have my colleagues here who will be responding to your questions on chat, and then questions that will not be responded to after the end of the session, then we'll have a question session at the end of the presentation. As I've already said, thank you very much. As CIPC, we always strive to find a better way of serving you and bringing you the service effectively and efficiently. We had a lot of challenges with the old system that we used to file voluntary deregistrations, delay in the processing, errors, and the system was not communicating the way it's supposed to. So as a result, it causes a lot of frustrations to our people. That is why we came up with this automation to eliminate a lot of challenges that we had with the old system. Because with the new system, we are able to communicate and save time as well. Now, we have introduced an automation whereby you will be filing the voluntary deregistrations online instead of the old way that we used, where you would send documents to the deregistration mailbox. So now, with the new current automation, it's aimed to improve communication and to reduce the turnaround time. With this one, customers are able to download deregistration letters online for free for a period of 6 months. They won't have to send us an email for you to get such deregistration letters. The platform is aimed to improve and reduce a lot of errors because it's done without intervention from CIPC back office. Immediately after you have done your application online, status automatically changes to the registration process. The scope of automation, the mailbox, the deregistration at CIPC mailbox has already been deactivated. So which means customers will not be able to send applications to that mailbox. The only uh, process that is utilized at the moment is the automation where you file the applications on our online platforms, e-services or BIS portal, or even the SSTs. All the applications that were processed on the old manual system will not be migrated to the new system, which means if ever you have submitted the application before the deregistration mailbox has been closed, uh, those applications will be processed from the old system and they will be finalized via the old system, like we have been doing previously before the new automation has been implemented. But those who were implemented in the new e-services will be processed on the new e-services. The requirements for voluntary deregistration, the requirements didn't change. It's just that the automation, the process has been automated. Uh, the entity or the enterprise must have ceased operation and has no assets or liabilities to qualify for a voluntary deregistration. Directors and members of the companies and CCs need to ensure that all the affairs have been finalized before they apply for a voluntary deregistration, because they'll be liable personally if ever there are things that needs to be settled after the company has been deregistered. It is a criminal offense for you to submit false information, and the application can be withdrawn or even be prosecuted by CIPC for submitting incorrect or false information or misleading information. Only people who are authorized to submit the deregistration applications, or if third parties, they need to have mandate, because they can't submit a deregistration application without permission from the authorized people or members of that entity that you'll be applying the registration for. The status is only companies who are in business or annual return deregistration process are allowed to file for a voluntary deregistration online. Any other statuses are not allowed to submit a deregistration application. So it's only companies who are in business or those who are in AR deregistration process who want to convert from AR deregistration process to voluntary deregistration process. All types of companies and CCs are allowed to file voluntary deregistration applications. So the channels that are available to submit, we can submit on BIS portal online or e-services or even at our SSTs. For those who are struggling to use BIS portal or e-services, they can go to our working SSTs
Hey,
where they'll be able to get assistance.
sorry, ke gore ke ansela Mishaki the question. Sorry,
Sia, please mute you.
sorry.
The deregistration application is free of charge. It's a free service, so there is no fee charge from the CIPC side. The deregistration application, it's a two-step process. After submitting the application online, the status changes to deregistration process. And in that status, the purpose of that, it can be in the registration process for up to 2 months, The purpose of that is to allow for objection, people who wants to object to the finalization of the registration. And then after 2 months, then the deregistration is finalized. So after submitting your deregistration application, the entity or the enterprise is not deregistered immediately. There is a period between the submission of a deregistration application and the finalization thereof. So it's a period of up to 2 months. So if we didn't receive an objection after 2 months, then we can finalize the deregistration process. For now, the process is 2 months so that we can allow people to get used to the new process. And then after that, it will be reduced to 21 working days from the date of submitting a deregistration application to the finalization thereof. This is the step-by-step process on how you can submit a voluntary deregistration online. On the e-services website, if you don't have a customer code and a password, you go to customer registration, where you'll be able to register yourself using your ID number and all the details there. And then after that, you'll be able to get your logins. And then when you get the username and password, you will be able to put it in here and log in. If you previously registered as a customer on our website and you forgot your password, you can click on forget password there, and then a reset password link will be sent to your email so that you can be able to update or change your password. And then if you forgot the details or the contact details that are there on your customer code have changed, you'll need to complete a password reset form with the updated customer details, contact details, along with the certified ID copy of the owner of the customer code to reset password at cipc.co.za. Then they will be able to update your contact details, and then you can be able to reset your password. Then after logging in, you will click on transact. Then it will bring you to this page. Then you click on more services. And then you select company and CC voluntary deregistration. And then you'll need to read the terms and conditions. And then after reading, you agree to the terms and conditions. Then you click on continue. Agreeing to the terms of condition is a confirmation that you agree, and then you have read the terms and conditions on that page. You can come back and say, I didn't know some of the things, because the page is simply for you to read and understand what is required of you before you file a deregistration application. Submitting, as I've already said, submitting incorrect information to CIPC, because some people apply for deregistration in order to run away from settling their own affairs. They can be criminally charged for doing that, because they'll be submitting false information to CIPC stating that you don't have assets and all those things. Then, because you need to have no assets, and the company must not be operational at the time of applying for deregistration, or due to an inadequacy of the assets, there is no reasonable probability for liquidation. So it's either you have no assets or assets are inadequate for you to can liquidate the company. Even the companies who have never traded, where there's no outstanding assets, can also submit the registration application. you need to ensure that all the assets or all the affairs have been finalized before you can submit a deregistration application, because directors and members of the company will be personally liable if there are unresolved matters after the deregistration. By clicking on agree, you confirm that you have mandated to submit the deregistration application, because it's also a criminal offense to submit deregistration on behalf of an entity without a proper mandate from them. So you need to, by clicking agree, you confirm that you got the necessary mandate required for you to submit a deregistration application if you're a third party. It's also a repeat of the previous slide that you will be personally liable. And then after clicking on agree, then you can click on continue here to continue with the deregistration application. Clicking on continue, then you are confirming that all the affairs have been settled. New application. Here, you can either file a voluntary deregistration application or an objection. There seems to be a confusion from a lot of people who have submitted, because we have received a lot of objections that are incorrect, in the sense that some customers think that after submitting a voluntary deregistration, they still need to file for objection even if they want to continue with the application. An objection, it's specifically for those people who want to object to the deregistration application that has already been filed. Like I said previously, that the deregistration application is a two-step process. The first step, you submit an application, then the status changes to deregistration process. So in that process, if ever there's somebody or any stakeholder who wants to object to the finalization of the deregistration process, then they will file an objection. So if you want to submit an application and you want the company deregistered, you don't need to submit a voluntary deregistration objection. So when you start a new application for deregistration, then you click on new voluntary deregistration, then you click on new application. Then you enter the enterprise number, and then it can be the short version or a long version. The system allows both of them. Then after that, you confirm if the details are correct, the company name, and then the status will be there as well. Remember, we said only companies who are in AR deregistration process or that are in business status are allowed to file a voluntary deregistration. Then if ever the details, the company name is correct, then you click on confirm to confirm that you are filing an application for the correct entity. Then you select an industry type, the province, and then you put in the address, and then you also confirm that you don't have outstanding assets or liabilities or any immovable properties, and then you don't have any outstanding affairs with SARS or any other stakeholders, and that all the liabilities have been settled. Even if you can click no on all the questions or some of the questions, the system will still allow you to continue to file a deregistration application. But like we said, you'll be personally liable if you submit a deregistration application without finalizing the affairs of that particular entity that you're submitting a deregistration application for. And then you need to verify the details through OTPs. After capturing the deregistration application and confirming, and then you'll be taken to the next page where you'll need to submit OTPs. 50% of the directors of the entity need to submit their OTPs for an application to be finalized. The system will not allow you to continue with the deregistration application if ever 50% of the directors were not clicked. If, like, for example, you've got 5 directors, which means at least 3 must submit their OTPs. If you have 4 directors, then at least 2 must submit OTPs for an application to go through. Then after that, you click on continue, that you agree. Like here in this case, in this example, they've got 2 directors, which means the system require 1 to submit an OTP for you to be able to continue with the deregistration application. And then here on this step, if ever there is an invalid contact detail, you are not going to be able to receive the OTP, which means you can't proceed with the deregistration application. You'll need to do a COR39 in order to update your contact details, because if your contact details are not up to date, you won't be able to continue with the application, because the application will require you to put in OTPs of at least 50% of directors. Even if these spaces are empty, the cell phone and email, the system won't be able to allow you to continue. You'll need to update the details first, then you can come back and continue with the application. And then here, that's where you submit OTPs. On the previous slide, you select directors that you're going to receive OTPs from. And then here on the next slide, then you put in an OTP. Firstly, you put in your ID number and an OTP from either an SMS or an email. Then after that, you submit the application. After submitting the application, then you'll successfully be verified, and the status will immediately change from in business, if it's in business, to voluntary deregistration process, status 08. Even if it's in AR deregistration process, then it will change to a voluntary deregistration process. Then the application here has been submitted and confirmed, and the status has already changed. And then if ever before the finalization, there's a stakeholder or someone who wants to object or is not happy with the deregistration process, or maybe some people will, for some reason, want to object or to the finalization of that deregistration, then they'll need to file an objection. Remember, an objection is only filed if you want to cancel the deregistration process, that the deregistration application that is already in process. You don't need to file an objection if you want to continue with the finalization of the deregistration of your entity. So this is specifically for those people who want to object to the finalization of the deregistration process. People have limited time to file the objection. The objection is not going to work if ever you're going to file it after the company has been, the deregistration has been finalized. The objection can only work if the deregistration hasn't been finalized, it's still in process. So for now, the process takes up to 2 months to be finalized. Within that 2 months, people are allowed to file an objection if they want to object to the finalization of that deregistration process. So if ever there are dispute between the stakeholders of the company, CIPC does not get involved in those disputes. You are allowed to submit objection twice. Then after that, the deregistration will be finalized. And if ever there's still, or the stakeholders can agree, they'll need to go to the company's tribunal, and then they'll be able to assist them reach consensus or any other forum based on the legislation that was contravened, or based on why people can agree on the finalization or continuing with the organization. So we can only allow people to submit an objection twice. Then after that, if they can agree, then they'll have to go to a company's tribunal who will help them reach a decision. And then as soon as the decision has been reached, they'll come back and file either an objection or a deregistration application. A deregistration will be finalized within 20 business days. But for now, because people are still getting used to the new system, it will be finalized in 2 months. This is how you file an objection. You log in the same way you do when you submit an application, but this time around you click on voluntary deregistration objection. And then you click on new objection, you put in the enterprise number, then you state the reasons, also attach a signed letter stating why you are objecting to the finalization of the deregistration, with a certified ID copy of a person who's objecting, stating reasons and signing. And then our back office will evaluate a rejection. And then if the rejection is approved, then the status will change back to in business. Or if ever the objection is rejected, then the deregistration will continue, and then it will be finalized in due time. Self-service download. People will be able to download deregistration letters on our online platforms. There won't be a need for customers to email CIPC so that they can send letters to them. But that letter is available for 6 months from the date the deregistration application has been finalized. After 6 months, then the deregistration letter will be available at a fee, because entities are responsible of keeping their documentation. And then this is where you click when you want to download letters or confirmation letters. You click on a hand here that says view, and then you go to download documents. Then you click on process. This is for you to get deregistration letters as soon as the application has been finalized. After 6 months, a final deregistration letter will be available. We will charge 30 Rand for each document that we send. The automation of deregistration was done on the 5th of December, and then all the applications that were processed on or before the 5th of December were processed, that were submitted on the 5th or before the 5th of December, were finalized on the old system. And then the applications that were submitted on the old system will not be migrated to the new system. So which means if you want to request deregistration letters for the companies that were filed on the old system, you're going to request them using the email that like we have been doing. But for those that were filed after the 5th of December on the new automated system, they will be able to get all the benefits of the new system. If the deregistration has already been filed, the system will not be able to allow you to proceed with the filing of the registration process. You'll get an error that the status is not allowed to file. So you won't be able to file the registration application if the application was already submitted on the old manual system. This is to avoid duplication of applications. The turnaround time for the finalization of a deregistration application that were filed on the old system is still 4 months. So if ever, for example, your application was processed on the 5th of December, so then the finalization should be done within 4 months from the date the application was processed. For inquiries, you'll need to send, if you have any query, the queries that we'll be dealing with today on this webinar are queries relating to the automation of deregistration. Any other query relating to deregistration, not related to today's topic or today's webinar, then will be directed to inquiry deregistration@cipc.co.za. Even if you have any other query relating to deregistration, you can still send them there. And then our back office team will be able to respond to your queries and advise what is the step that you need to take for a query that you'll be having. The deregistration application mailbox has been closed, and then you won't be able to send anything to that because it's no longer working. So the manual process is no longer working. All deregistration applications would need to be filed on the automated system. A step-by-step guide is also available on our website that will guide you through the process if you're still struggling. But we'll gladly assist you on the inquiry mailbox for any queries that you'll be having relating to the new system or the old system, or any other queries relating to the registration. The notice number 2 of 2012 will be withdrawn, and then the step-by-step guide is available to guide you if you're still struggling, and our staff is also available to respond to queries on that inquiry mailbox. Thank you very much. If we still have any other queries that were not addressed, we can be able to deal with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mishak, for that very, very informative webinar presentation for us. I'm now going to hand you over to Sia, who will be reading out questions that he has not answered. So, Mishak, Sia will read out the question and you can answer or he can answer it, okay? The presentation is available. I have uploaded it on the chat as well as on the handout, and the recording will be emailed to those participants that have given us their email address during registration. Welcome, Sia. I hand over to you.
Thank you, Shani. Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you. Mishak, while you were busy with the presentation, I managed to sum up some of the inquiries that our customers have. The first one, it is more on the director details. If they're outdated, what should they do? Because normally they find that some of the director details are not appearing when they want to resolve the directors, or when the director details are outdated, so that the OTP can go to the right director. What can they do?
Okay, thank you very much, Sia. We had a challenge with synchronization. So there are two cases. If ever the client is trying to submit a deregistration application, but there are no director details there, they can email us on that inquiry mailbox. Then we'll be able to update director information for them. But if ever the director contact details are incorrect, they will need to amend director details online via the COR 39 process. They won't be able to get the OTPs if the contact details are not updated. I hope I've answered the questions here.
Thank you, Mishak. Then the second one, it's based on old applications. If someone has sent an application before the new process of automation, and somehow the status of the company has not yet changed, what should they do now?
Oh, thank you for that. All the applications that met the requirements that were submitted before the 5th, unless if there was a system challenge, we didn't get the proper documentation. All the applications that were received on or before the 5th web has already been processed. So if the status hasn't changed, which means clients need to file on the new automated system, which means it's either we didn't receive the documents or the application was rejected. Remember, we had a challenge on the old system. Its communication was lacking, and sometimes when we reject applications, the system was not communicating to clients. So if ever the status hasn't changed, it's likely that the application has been rejected or we didn't get the documents. And if we didn't get them by now, which means we won't be able to process them because the old manual system was discontinued. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you, Mishak, for that one. Then another one, it's on if a company status it's ARD registration. The customer asks that will they be expected to file when they file the registration? Will they be expected to file the annual returns that are outstanding to proceed with the
No,
process?
no, the system will allow them to proceed even if the annual returns are not paid. That is why I said in the presentation that only companies who are in ARD registration process and in
Mm,
business are allowed to file voluntary deregistration applications.
okay. Then the other one is on the letters. Will CIPC forward the registration letters to SARS, and also will each and every director receive maybe the finalization letters, or it will go to the filer only? Or
For now, it was going to the filer, but we are working on updating that all current active directors must receive final deregistration letters. But Directors can also download the voluntary deregistration on the website. As long as it's within 6 months after the finalization of the process, they'll be able to download it free of charge. They will only be charged after 6 months.
Okay. And there's other one that I picked. It's on the OTP. How long does it last?
It's supposed to expire in 96 hours. 96 hours from the date they file the application.
All right. Thank you, Mishak. Then the other one, I think this one was more on the restoring of a deregistered company, whether it can be reinstated after deregistration.
Yeah, I think you are the right person to answer that.
Thank you. Yes, you can reinstate a deregistered company. Mm. Uh, yeah, there's
Any
a
other
number
question
of
that we have
them.
missed?
There's a number because I tried to sum up some of the questions based on the common errors that our customers receiving. Uh, so far, I think I've covered most of them.
Anyone that we
The
haven't
one,
responded to, Shani?
No, I'm also looking at the questions. I see there's a lot of SARS related questions. What I am going to do is invite SARS to our next session and see if they can answer some of these questions that our customers seem to have. A lot of them are directed to SARS and not to us. So I will
uh,
make a note to invite SARS. Let's see if there's anything else.
Stan, yeah, I think there's this one. Will CIPC forward the SARS, the resignation letter to SARS?
Remember,
Or
SARS
is it?
and CIPC are two separate entities.
Mm,
We are not on the same system. We are not on the same network. So um, if they have to submit uh, a resignation letter, it has to be done to SARS as well as CIPC. It can't be to one institute. I think we
thank you,
have
Shani.
covered all the queries. We have more or less 15 minutes left. Is there any closing remarks that you want to make, Mishak?
Mm, I think I've covered everything. Um,
CI, is there anything you would like to say?
Thank you, Shani. Maybe if what I can share is that we especially when we are introducing a new system, we often find ourselves having some customers who are still trying to learn the new process. Also, the process itself, there will be errors that are existing, but we encourage them to actively send us their inquiries on our inquiries mailbox. So some of those errors we manage them as we go into the new system. So that's what I can say. That if you have any query, please send it. If you have any application that was never processed, please send it so that we can check, so that we can be able to see to advise whether you need to file on the new system or check what happened with the previous application. Thank you, Shani.
Thank you, Sia. Mishak, is there anything you would like to say before I close?
yeah, I just want to emphasize that whenever they come across challenges with the new system, sometimes we are not aware of the challenges until they let us know. So let's engage and make this process a success. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. This concludes today's webinar. On behalf of the CIPC, we would like to thank you for your participation and engagement. We trust that the information shared was of value. Thank you for attending. Goodbye.